Hello, everyone. We're going to be starting very shortly. Just give us like another minute or so, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics. And today we're going to be covering, the memory of Charlie as well as other topics, our political state, and what solution we can find for the country that we're in right now. And I really want Alex and Dean to really chip in on this. And really, we're going to be discussing ideas and really talking about what it is to be an American, what it is to live in a society where we can have civil discourse without any political violence whatsoever. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys. Alex, you're muted. Hold on. Let me unmute you. There you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My name is Alex Stone. I am a 21-year-old Christian conservative. I am the host of the Alex Stone Show, and I am on a mission to spread the light of the gospel into every aspect of life, including the things that most Christians do not like to discuss, such as politics.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Z. My friends know me as Dean. I'm a historian and a political analyst, and we're here today to obviously discuss Charlie Kirk. This is somebody who had, I don't want to get too ahead of the topic here, but this is somebody who had a profound impact on all of us, and I think the country as a whole.
Yeah, I think that is very true. And, this is obviously, as you guys know, we've all attended Turning Point events before. We actually had a stream with Radical Politics at the Student Action Summit where we talked about regular politics and, we were all having a good time and stuff. And I just have to say, Charlie at 31 years of age did much more than people could do in 5 lifetimes. Just 31 years old, Charlie built something so huge and so massive. And there's so many people that would attend these events. And, it's just very remarkable that through faith in Jesus Christ, he was able to build a movement of young Americans to really set the foundation of a new Christian and conservative movement amongst the youth in America. And Alex, I kind of want you to touch on this because I knew out of the three of us, you knew Charlie the most. And I kind of want to hear your thoughts and just about, what you think about Turning Point and Charlie and just your general thoughts of what you're thinking right now.
Well, I just want to start off with this. As Christians, we have hope that Charlie Kirk, we know that Charlie Kirk heard the words that he's been longing to hear for his entire life. Well done, my good and faithful servant. So I'll start with that. I'll start with hope. Okay. We have hope that we will one day see Charlie again in eternity with him and with Jesus in the future. I wanted to start with that. Of course, I'm sad. Of course, I'm angry. Of course, I'm pissed off. I know many others are as well. I knew Charlie. I became friends with Charlie actually this year. I had met Charlie multiple times throughout the past few years, but I became friends with Charlie this year. Had him on my show, and I just want to say this: this man loved Jesus. When I had him on my show back in February, the first thing that he said to me was, listen, I love Jesus. Jesus is the chairman of the board of my life. Okay. He was a man who loved Jesus, who loved his family, who loved the Turning Point family, and especially definitely loved this country. And this, in my opinion, is going to be bigger and have a greater impact than the assassinations of JFK, RFK, MLK, the assassination attempts of President Trump. This is bigger than that. This is a global tragedy. He wasn't just an American figure. He was just in South Korea last week. There are millions marching in support of Charlie Kirk right now in the United Kingdom. This is a worldwide tragedy, and it is waking a lot of people up. And I knew that would happen immediately, but I didn't realize it would happen so quickly. I have had multiple people reach out to me who are conservative, who love this country, who love the values that you and I and Dean and Charlie and all of the conservative movement loved, but they weren't really vocal about it. But I've had multiple people who I'm friends with say, I need to get involved in politics. Where do I start? What do I do? How do I sign up? Where do I go? This is happening all across the nation right now. And it is because of Charlie's assassination. And it's, I wouldn't even say it's because of Charlie's assassination. I would say it's because of Charlie's life. Because Charlie lived a good life. He lived an inspiring life. He lived a life that was a moral, upstanding life. And he became a threat to the political system, if you will, because of the impact that he was having on politics. And that impact was because, quite frankly, of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the reality. So I'm pissed off. I'm sad, but I'm also hopeful for the future of our nation. These people that we see on the left, however, there's no negotiating with them. The people that are celebrating this, saying it's a good thing that he's gone, saying that he deserved it, saying that this was, it was worth it to assassinate Charlie Kirk. The people who are selling T-shirts with Charlie's face and his neck being blown out, saying debate this. These are evil, disgusting, wicked people, and there is no negotiating with them. There is no talking with them. There is no changing their mind. There is none of that. These are evil, debased, immoral people who have no sense of morality, who have no sense of sympathy, as Charlie would say, who have no sense of care for anything but themselves. Okay. Elon Musk just reposted this earlier. The people on Blue Sky are sick. After Erica Kirk's message last night on live television, people were saying, I hope that Erica is next. These are evil, disgusting people who cannot be negotiated with at all. But even in the midst of that, I do have hope, the hope of the gospel, the hope that we will see Charlie again one day in eternity, and the hope that they have caused a massive ripple effect in the youth movement, in the young men especially.
100%. And I think that, let's actually let Dean go, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Well, what I wanted to chime into that is losing Charlie. There is, of course, the direct impact he had on us, but there's also sort of the opportunity we've been robbed of. This is somebody who was a major political player and who had such potential. What I heard very soon after was this is somebody who could have been president. I mean, he wasn't even old enough to run yet. That's the terrible thing. If you gave this guy a few more years, if you gave him an opportunity to run for president, what tremendous things could he have done for the country, for all of us, for the world at large, because we are such an impactful country. And it is really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to think about. But then, you look, that's the bigger picture side of things, but then you look at the smaller side of it. This is a family man, 31-year-old guy, young family, loving wife. You see the video she put out, and it's absolutely devastating. This is somebody who had such a happy relationship, such a happy start to their life, and to have it all ripped away is just, it's devastating. But yeah, Charlie had a massive impact on all of us, even indirectly. If even if you didn't go to any turning point events, even if you didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, you've almost certainly seen his clips, you've seen his videos.
Right.
He had a presence for people, because obviously we've all met Charlie before, but even for people who didn't, it's like knowing that this guy who's always been there, even if you never spoke to him, he was always there in the background. Now he's gone. This is somebody who had wide reach, wide presence, and it was all taken away from us.
Right.
This is just breaking news like 12 minutes ago. Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson was living with his transgender partner, a male transitioning to female. That's just in breaking news. Nick Sorter, who is a reliable source, reports that, as well as many others. Just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, interesting. And you know what?
Brianna Morello is also reporting it. Brooke Singman from Fox News. A lot of credible people are saying this.
And Fox News reported that?
People from Fox are reporting that even.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's, oh man. Yeah, that is a big deal. That is a real wow. Wow. You know what's interesting? It was kind of funny. Not funny, but it is kind of comical seeing that the left and like certain influencers immediately, the second that they found out that the parents were Republican and they pulled up the wrong voter registration for him, they jumped on it so fast that it was Republican, because they now, unfortunately, now they have no hope, because especially that if this is true that he was actually living with a transgender partner, it's just that they needed it so bad to be a Republican, because if it wasn't, which it clearly was not a Republican who did this, their whole brand, their whole everything is completely crushed. And it already is, it already was. And now it's even more crushed and defeated than what it already was just a couple of days ago. And they needed it so bad to be somebody that was a Republican, or, it was a Groyper who did this. Like, they needed it so bad to be a Republican, and it wasn't. And it's just, they were jumping onto stuff so quickly without actually researching the facts. I hadn't even posted anything about Tyler really, except what the governor was saying, because that was the only really credible source of information that we had at the time.
Right.
So, and we can get into different things. I have different opinions about what happened to Charlie. I don't think it was a lone man who just did this. I think that this was a professional hit job done by a group of people to get rid of Charlie, because like Alex said, like, he was a very big threat to the political system. And it's not because he was a Republican, it's because he really wore God on his sleeve. Like, he really wore Jesus Christ on his sleeve. And people that are a part of the political establishment can't have somebody like that even like be a governor or be a president at all, because like, that's not how it works. Like, everything about politics at that higher level has nothing to do with Jesus. There's bribery, there's so many dark things that happen that they can't have somebody at a prominent level operate like that, because their whole operation would just fall. They couldn't have that.
You brought up other people being involved. There was a report from the governor of Utah where there were messages exchanged over Discord where the assassin reportedly picked the gun up from a drop-off site. So there might be other people involved already.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are other people involved, and I would even go as far to say as I wouldn't be surprised if this guy that they have right now is a patsy. Me
neither.
It seems outrageous, but I mean, look at the assassination of JFK. Oswald was a patsy. Oswald wasn't the guy that shot JFK. This most certainly could be a patsy situation.
I've got my disagreements on the JFK story there, but we'll save that for another time. We want to focus on Charlie today.
Sure. I've seen this video. There was a drone, not a civilian level drone. There was a drone flying above this when it happened, which is concerning to me. I don't know what that means or what that looks like, but we have to question everything. We have to question every single thing. What?
They have that on video? There was a drone flying around?
There was a drone, yes.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that it was 200 meters away. The second that I found out that it was a 200-meter shot, I was like, oh, this wasn't... I can't really believe that this was just some random person that was upset at Charlie or whatever. Like, for you to be that accurate from that far, I don't think people realize how hard it is to actually shoot that accurate from that far. Like, that is a very... I would think it's very difficult to actually do that because wind plays into effect. There's many things that play into effect, you know? So I think it would be quite difficult to do that. Just some random person one day that was upset just to do that. And I mean, you know, that's just my opinion. I mean, I've never really used anything like that. So maybe I don't know, but I wasn't going to just assume that it'd be so easy to use that, you know? So that was also very concerning to me. And Alex, do you have anything else to say about this?
You know, I have a lot to say about this. Is there any way that I can like share my screen or add a video?
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, share your screen. It should.
You know what? I said it better last night on my live stream. I'm gonna play this for you once it loads. Give me just a second. Because this didn't have to happen. We all know that this didn't have to happen, and it shouldn't have happened. Right. I have this this video in the queue. I don't know how to play it. You might be able to on your end.
Send me the link and I'll play it because maybe it's not. It should let you share your screen though.
Let's see here. I just added a video file.
He had a pencil bag thrown at him. And the girl at the microphone said, "You're okay. You're not hurt." You know, this should have stopped with the pencil bag, but it didn't. You know, this should have stopped when Steve Scalise was shot at the baseball game, the congressional baseball game, but it didn't. This should have stopped when people were threatening to blow up the White House, but it didn't. This should have stopped after every single one of these outrageous, disgusting things that we've seen from the left. It should have stopped there. It should have stopped at the assassination attempt of Donald Trump on July 13th, 2024, but it didn't. It didn't stop, did it? It should have stopped after Trump's second assassination attempt, but it didn't. It didn't stop. And now we have Charlie Kirk, who is dead, damn it. And it's heartbreaking. It's tragic. And we have a right to be angry. But we cannot let our anger turn into violence. We should not stoop that low to become violent. But the reality is that Democrats did incite this kind of stuff. It never should have happened that Donald Trump was called a Nazi. It never should have happened that conservatives were called fascist. It never should have happened that conservatives were called racist. It never should have happened that conservatives were called homophobic or transphobic or xenophobic or whatever you want to put in there. It never should have happened that Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, for 4 years was calling the Republican Party, the MAGA conservatives, a threat to democracy. It never should have happened, and it has led to this. And we should all be angry over it.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I said there was true. That's the reality. It never should have happened. The pencil bag incident that I was talking about Steven Crowder from Louder with Crowder. They had to stop their Change My Mind tours because of the threat of violence. Mm-hmm. There were people that tried to bash Steven Crowder's head with rocks. So they stopped it because of the security concerns, because of the safety concerns of evil, disgusting, hateful people. This isn't happening on the right. The right isn't going around trying to assassinate and kill and murder anybody that disagrees with them over everything. But we have people on the left who are outrageously and consistently and constantly saying outrageous things like, oh, we're fascists. Oh, we're Nazis. Oh, we're a threat to democracy. Oh, we must be taken out. There must be a bullet that is put in Donald Trump's head. This is what we are hearing from the left, and it has led to Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is what I have to say. And every person who is watching this needs to wake up to what is actually going on in our country. This isn't just a physical battle. This isn't just a physical battle between flesh and blood. And yes, it may seem like that, and it may feel like that. This is a deeply rooted spiritual battle between the forces of good and God versus the forces of evil and Satan. That is what we are facing right now. That is what we are up against right now. And every conservative and every Christian needs to wake up to that and start to pray. Start to pray loud. Start to pray a lot. Because this is what we need for our country right now. We need healing. We need healing now. And it starts with us as Christians praying for repentance of our own sin. It starts with Christians praying for repentance of our family sin. And it starts with Christians praying for the repentance of national sins, like abortion, like transgenderism, like LGBT nonsense, like all of this stuff that we see in our culture. We need to repent. We need to pray. We need to seek God's face. We need to humble ourselves and ask God to heal our land so nothing like this ever happens again.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is definitely true, and it's just, and I'll add something before Dean speaks, but I had a story that happened to me, and I know Alex and Dean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I ran for student government president at the University of Central Florida as a Republican candidate who wore a MAGA hat. And that was not just to, draw some attention. That was to send a political message that even in a student campus, we could have a conservative movement and a movement of common sense come into student government and actually make a difference and bring in bright people to actually create policies that would actually even help students get jobs and have a better economic life, even just through student government. And I really wanted to make a difference there. And unfortunately, things just didn't work out that way. But I had many death threats that I had to report to the police in DMs and comments saying that they were going to bash my head in with a baseball bat with my name engraved on it, that they were going to come to the campus and shoot me. Like this is a real thing, guys. Like, this is a very real threat, and this is very personal to me, because it's like, if they did that to Charlie, like they definitely would have no problem doing it to me either. And they could have done it to me, it could have been done to me. And it actually makes me more motivated to get my story out there as well, because I had actually tried really getting this to Charlie and to the president for a while now, because I didn't want something like this to happen to anybody else on a college campus. And unfortunately, Charlie met that fate, and it's just very, very, very upsetting to see this happen. And I want Dean to go ahead and pitch in if you have any other thoughts.
Well, the next thing we have to talk about is, how do we solve this? We have to have a serious discussion and a serious game plan for what's going on. One of the things a lot of people were worried about is that this was going to stoke violent retaliation in the streets between conservatives and liberals. But I think the better approach and the smarter approach, if we want a long-lasting solution, is top-down. You have the government, and Trump did speak about this. You have the government crack down on all these people promoting violent rhetoric. You make an example of these people. You say, this is not going to be tolerated anymore. You go out there and you threaten people. You put people's lives at risk. And this is something we started the whole stream with. Americans shouldn't have to live in fear of just expressing themselves. We had a light version of that for a good long while, where a lot of conservatives were afraid of expressing their views because of social ostracism, of course. But now, are we going to allow that to escalate to a point where conservatives are just outright worried for their lives. You can't have that happen. And fortunately, we do have Trump in office. We do have a very conservative administration in power right now. We can do a lot of things. We can do a lot of things right now to make sure that the left understands this just isn't going to happen anymore. And if they try it, we're going to do things to them that have never really been done before. We are a very, very powerful country, and we have a very large population, and we're going through a large period of polarization. If we even give people a hint that this is tolerable, then it's going to spiral out of control. You have to nip it in the bud. You have to be firm with it. You have to be aggressive. We saw some good stuff starting out, right after this happened. You had the people who were celebrating this. They were being called out by civilians. They were losing their jobs. But you need something more intense, because the media has been perpetuating this for a very, very long time. What happened to Charlie almost happened to Trump. And why is it? It's because the media, for years, kept perpetuating, this man is a threat to the republic. This man is an existential threat to democracy. This man is a fascist. He wants to, destroy your family. He wants to kill you. So naturally, what's going to happen? People are going to freak out, and people are going to be like, oh, we have to do something about this. So it's not sufficient to just fire the people who are celebrating this. You need to go after the people who have been perpetuating this narrative and who frankly want us dead. We need to go after them. We need to crack down on them. We have to make sure they don't have the ability to do that anymore.
No, I 100% agree. And it's just like, yeah. And like what Alex said earlier, like people are selling shirts of Charlie saying debate this. And like somebody made an action figure of him like this.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. That's disgusting.
I think the action figure might have been AI generated. There was
but
a little.
Doesn't matter. Like it's just.
I know exactly. It is.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting that somebody would even think of like creating an AI image of that. People were like, and you know what really makes this very jarring to a lot of people is that a lot of people knew who this was, and it was done in front of thousands of people and for everybody to see. I think that really is what makes it much more like it's a reality check for a lot of people, including myself too, because it was just so brutal in front of everybody, like, and it's, to me, it's just I think what really disgusts me the most is that somebody could see Charlie get shot and fall over and just basically become lifeless almost instantaneously and still be happy about it.
I'm assuming you saw the video of the guy dancing when it happened.
Well, actually, what I actually saw that guy. He did an interview with somebody, and he actually supposedly I don't know if this is true or not. This is according to him, but supposedly he was chanting like USA.
That doesn't matter. No, I don't buy that for a single second.
I don't know, but I just wanted to put that out there. But
I saw that. I saw that too.
When you look at how he acts,
I don't agree. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, I don't really agree with that. I mean, I don't know why he kind of acted the way he did. It was just kind of weird. I mean, maybe he did do that, maybe he didn't, but he did look kind of a little too happy to be chanting USA. Like if I was there, I wouldn't have done that. I don't know.
No normal person with any sense of morality or any common sense at all would have done what he did. That guy is disgusting and outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put that out there for like journalistic integrity, because he did just come out and say that. But I don't believe that. Alex doesn't believe that. I'm sure Dean really doesn't believe that either, because when you look at the video, he does look a little too happy to be saying that. So I mean, I don't know. I just really think that this is the turning point of USA. Quite literally is the turning point of USA. And I think that this is going to reverberate everywhere. I think that this is going to change American politics quite a bit. And I just really, just looking forward, I'm very, I saw Erica's address to the nation. I thought she was very strong for what just happened. She was incredibly strong. She gave a very powerful and inspiring message. And I'm very glad that she's going to be continuing on the work of Charlie. I'm very glad that she's going to be the one who carries the whole thing forward. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This guy, DB Cooper, Texas, wrote on X yesterday. He says, I think I've figured it out. This assassination is hitting deeper than normal, and I didn't know why. I'm not one who emotionally attaches to celebrities or public figures. I know death is not the end, and find comfort in that. So why is it hurting so bad? Because the Holy Spirit is in mourning, and that spirit is in all of us believers. Charlie was a light in this world who was bringing the good news to everyone. He was leading by example. We are not capable of understanding God's plan, but just as Jesus wept for Lazarus, the Spirit weeps for Charlie.
Right. I think that is true. And I want to bring up something just for posterity. I want to bring up stuff that Candace has been saying, because there is one side to this that you could say, this was just somebody here, that got mad and had a group of people helping him. But there's also a lot of people talking about Charlie asking a lot of questions before this happened. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And the only reason why I'm going to show Candace's tweets is because you could see the clips of Charlie saying stuff and you can speculate. But this is Candace that knew Charlie well, that has information on her, that has been saying stuff about specific people. And I really need to share this because it is very important, because Candace knew Charlie very well. She has a lot of resources. She's an investigative journalist. And I'm only showing Candace's stuff because I believe that she's very reputable. And I think that she has the credibility to speak on this. And she said that Benjamin Netanyahu lied about the contents of the letter that Charlie wrote to him in May. And it was a lie by severe omission. So it's not that he lied about the thing he said that Charlie said in the letter, like whatever he said, but it was a lie by severe omission. And it isn't sitting right with me. And then she goes on to say, it is 100% true that Charlie opposed the war with Iran and was fighting with his donors over Israel, as Tucker Carlson shared on Megyn Kelly's show. This is why I'm discomforted by the intentional lie by omission that Bibi told on Fox News about the letter that Charlie wrote. Then she goes on to say that be very wary and suspicious of the people who are already telling us to stop asking questions about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And then we go ahead and we come up here a little bit further. And she said, Charlie Kirk, this was 4 hours ago. She said Charlie Kirk was fighting with very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed. The messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. So I think that it's very interesting to see that Candace said this. Somebody even said Discord has come out to tell us that the feds are lying about Charlie Kirk's death, which is I haven't really read this. I really don't know what this could mean. I'm assuming that they probably screen, because it's very easy. Like the people at Discord, because I've used it a lot, because I developed video games and stuff like that before. And it's very easy. Like you look up the actual tag of the person and they have like a thing where they can look through everybody's messages on Discord. Like you can do that. And they can link it to your actual like social security number, your email, like they can link it to a bunch of different things. And if they saw that he has no Discord account, it's like, why would they lie and say that he was using Discord? If they knew that Discord could just come out and say, oh, we actually don't have any records of him having a Discord account.
Well, I mean, you have to take into the account that Discord could obviously be lying about this to save face for their organization as well.
Well, that's true as well. That also could be the case. But I do think that Candace made a lot of points, and I'm gonna be waiting to see what she says about all that, because I think it just has to be taken into consideration. I don't know how you feel about that, Alex. I don't know, Dean, how you feel about that. If you guys have any thoughts about that, if you guys want to
Well,
share.
I think there's always going to be a little bit of smoke of confusion until everything is, finally finalized. What the investigation? I'm going off what I know from the governor of Utah's interview. The investigators, saw a Discord account. It was a close friend of the assassin. It was like, yeah, this is his account. These are the messages exchanged between us. So if we are getting conflicting reports, obviously somebody's not being truthful. But the official statements seem to favor the idea that he did have a Discord account. This information is out there, but we have to wait and see when the dust settles.
Right. And then, just to kind of, carry on, we still got about maybe like until probably 1 p.m. Eastern here. But, I just think moving forward now, I think it's a lot of people are really going to step up now and really, a lot of people are really going to step up now. They're going to really be more involved. I've gotten texts from people saying that they want to get involved in Turning Point, that they want to be more informed. And I can't imagine, how many people are going to go to AmFest this year. The turnout's going to probably be insane, in my opinion. And I'm very happy that we're seeing so many people that are going to be willing to step up. And again, nobody's ever going to be able to fill Charlie's shoes because he was absolutely one of one. Only Erica, the person he married, could do that. But I just think that I'm going to be more involved. I want to be posting a lot more about actual conservatism, not just kind of the message of the gospel in America, not just like election predictions from now on. I want to be much more involved going forward. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be more involved and louder than I ever have been before. And I think many others are going to be as well. Like I said earlier, I've had two people that I'm very close with, and then multiple others come to me and say, I want to get more involved in politics. Where do I start? This is happening all across the United States and probably even all over the entire world. But also just look at the response from conservatives over this. We saw George Floyd's death in 2020, and there was riots all over the streets, all over the United States. Charlie Kirk's assassination, someone who is actually a good man, a loving man, a good father, a good husband, a good Christian, a good friend to many. We see prayer vigils all across the United States over this.
Right.
Praying for Charlie's family, praying for Turning Point, praying for the United States. We don't see riots. I think this response has created something massive for the future of the United States.
1,000%, 1,000,000%. And again, I just want to reiterate this. Like, I think this is probably the biggest political assassination that there's been since MLK, in my opinion. And, people can have their opinions about MLK or JFK or Abraham Lincoln, but at the end of the day, they were all civil rights icons. They were all great American leaders. And even though MLK was a little bit more on the liberal side, depending on how you look at it, it doesn't matter.
The dude, MLK had communist ties, man. It's complicated history there.
Right. But, but still, I think that at the end of the day, this is really, it's devastating for the country. It's very sad because this only happens in third world nations. This stuff like this only is supposed to happen in third world countries. Well, not supposed to happen, but this is the type of stuff that happens in third world countries. And it's like, if this is happening here to a major political figure, what's going to happen? And a lot of people don't understand. Like, I've seen a lot of comments of, oh, this is just some 31-year-old podcaster. Why did JD Vance take him in the casket and this and that? It's because they don't understand how important Charlie was to a lot of people. They don't get
I think they probably do understand, but they want to downplay and minimize the impact and effect that Charlie Kirk had on the entire world.
Mm-hmm. I think that also is true. I think that also could be true as well. I do know there is a lot of people that are genuinely like, why? But again, there are some people that could definitely be downplaying it. Dean, you have anything to say about that, or Alex?
I would say, insofar as downplaying it, or insofar as the question before, which is, what do we do moving forward?
I just think, in terms of both. Really, you could talk about both if you want.
I would say, in terms of moving forward, I'm not deterred either, and I don't think any of us should. I mean, what this is at the end of the day is an act of terrorism. This is somebody who wants to scare us and keep us from continuing the good fight because we've made so much progress. Let's be real. One of the things that probably motivated this assassin is realizing that we are winning, and we can't slow down on the fact that we are winning. We need to keep putting the pressure on, making good gains for the United States, and helping our people however we can. If we let this type of thing intimidate us, nothing is going to get done. It's no good. And me personally, look, like I've almost died a few times in my life. I was in a very bad car wreck just a few months ago. It's like any number of things can kill you any day. I might as well die fighting, doing something I care about and helping others, It's like this life of ours is so short. Let's dedicate it to something worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's very true. I think that's definitely true. And then I think just, just me being a political analyst, like I just bring this up because, that's what On Point Politics is. And I think it's important. Even, I haven't done any polling, a lot of people I know haven't done any polling, but I can't imagine next week what we're going to find, because I really think that this is going to make a lot of people really just defect from the Democrats. Like, I really think that this is such a big deal that you really are going to see a lot of this. This, I think, created a lot of high propensity Republican voters that are just going to go out to vote just because now. Like, it's no longer because you always had the Democrats now being the high propensity voter group. But now there is a reason for people to be motivated. And the worst part for them is that a lot of these people are people that were never involved before. That's what's going to be very bad for them. A lot of these new high propensity voters for Republicans are going to be people that have never been involved. And those are usually the people that this is their first impression of politics, because it's different when you've been involved in it for so long. But imagine the first thing you get involved is some right-wing guy that you really liked or that you might have agreed with just got assassinated. Like, that's your whole political image. That's your one issue. It's those people are going to be extremely motivated to go out there, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts about that.
No, you're so right. We've been radicalized totally, completely in every way, shape, and form. I'm just going to say it. I don't know how you guys feel about him. I know how Charlie felt about him, and I know how this guy felt about Charlie. But Joel Webbin put on X, yesterday, 2 days ago, you killed Charlie, now you get Nick. Enjoy. And Steve Bannon, who was a friend of Charlie's, a very close friend of Charlie's, said the law of unintended consequences. You killed Charlie, you killed the nice guy, now you get the further right guy. Who is more radical and still has a large audience to continue telling the truth. Just going to put that out there. And this guy is Joel Webbin is right, and Steve Bannon certainly is right. This is the law of unintended consequences.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up. Just this was mainly about Charlie per se, but you do bring up a good point. I think this is going to be the person that people turn to from now on. I'm just going to put that out there. I think that this is going to be the person that people are going to watch now. And I mean, he just did a show the other night and it had 180,000 live viewers. Like, he had more viewers than Speed, Kais and Nat, and somebody else all put together. Like, that's huge. And I actually think, despite Nick and Charlie's disagreements with each other and their rivalry with each other, I actually thought Nick gave a very good address as well.
I watched it as well. Most of his videos get 200, 100,000, 200,000 or so views afterwards. This is at nearly 2 million views already.
Right. Right, and then, yeah, and it's just because the thing is, like, if their goal was to eliminate some voice out of the sphere and like that's it, there's always an equal opposite reaction. Like, that's just how it is. And like, you killed the nice guy now, and now you're if they thought it was bad before, oh man, yeah, you're gonna have somebody that really doesn't give a anything. Because Charlie was a good man, very nice, and not to say anything bad about Nick. I actually think Nick, despite some of his character flaws, I think actually genuinely means well. But Nick is not Charlie. Nick is not the same, and unfortunately for them, you're gonna have somebody that's a lot more fierce than Charlie was. So I just think, yeah, it is true. It's the law of unintended consequences, and I want Dean to actually pitch in about this.
No, I don't want to. There's not really too much I want to say, but I agree. I think you're going to see a more radicalized youth base, but it's not. And this is the big thing. I spoke about this just a little bit earlier in the stream. It's not about radicalism in the streets. It's radicalism in politics. It's recognizing that there is a segment of the population that wants us dead. And when I say us, what happened to Charlie, it could have happened to you, Lester. It could have happened to you, Alex. It could have happened to me. There's a segment of the population that wants us dead. And acknowledging that and recognizing that you need to crack down on these people, I think you're going to have a lot more young individuals who are like, yeah, something needs to be done. Even if it's something radical, something needs to be done about it.
Right. And I mean, all right, guys, I think pretty much that's it for this episode of this. I mean, do you guys have any closing thoughts before we go?
Turn your life to Jesus. I mean, Charlie would say it too. Turn your life to Jesus. It is the best decision that you could ever make. You don't know when your life is going to go. James, the book of James says that life is but a vapor. It is here for one moment and then it is gone the next. You could lose your life just like that. Give your life to Jesus, repent of your sins, believe the gospel, and you will have eternal life. That's all I have to say.
I would say let's not let Charlie's death be in vain. Let's let this motivate us to fight even harder. And if Charlie was so committed to this that, he put his life at risk and lost it, I think we should have that same determination and be willing to keep fighting the good fight.
I 100% agree with both of you. And all right, guys, that's pretty much it for this. If you guys did enjoy this episode, this discussion with Alex and Dean, make sure to hit the like button, to subscribe to the channel. And actually, I linked Alex and Dean's socials down below if you guys want to go check those out as well. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you very much for everybody who tuned in.
Take care, everyone.